Sin, our fatal flaw, a prenatal label caused by Adam's fatal fall. It ain't a fable. Paul tells us that we're unstable from the cradle. All are unable to keep God's stable law. So we call on every answer that philosophy has when the loss that we have gets colossally bad. But like a colostomy bag, we're trapped carrying our own crap. Sin kidnapped and accosted me, wrapped my synapse in apostasy. In fact, it possessed me like it had an apostrophe. And like typhoid Mary coughed on me, a cacophony of atrocities was tossed on me casually. The cost on me is I'm a lost cause. I'm lost cause I'm a casualty of the spell sin cast in me. It broke me in half with no cast in me. Death crashed in me, an eternal catastrophe as my internal can atrophy and die. And I am dying and was afraid of death. Now, I can debate here as I wait here with bated breath about my date of death or the fate of my every weighted step that's slated next. But at this rate, I bet my life would grade an F, because when I'm laid to rest, I'm hoping heaven's gate is left open. At best, I'm left coping with the pain I get in this state. Except I expect to accept that there will be no debating left because I sin great. I guess I'm an ingrate. But just in case justice doesn't come in capes, then I can't escape. No man in an escape will save me from the sickness sin gave me. 'Tis a grave thing to shake the grave's hand. I need the divine engravings of he who met the grave and beat it. Because we need to read it, see what he did. See, what he did was succeeded unequaled as a sequel when the original was defeated. The regal one went to where the devil lives and stole back some of its relatives. But to get to where his level is, we have to revel in what's relevant. Christ, no reticence to die, blood as red as sense did dye his residence. The eternal present tense took on a peasant tent to be a present to the penitent, from the peasant to the president. There was no precedent. To remove sin's impediment and save a remnant, he had to bear the irreverent. Got whipped with stripes and looked just like he picked a fight with the bear from the Revenant. They didn't care for the heaven sense, and though they rent his rented skin, they couldn't get under his. I truly marvel at how low-key the God of thunder is. But the wonder is how much from us he's owed, and yet he still acts as guard over us and God over us. He and Satan are at odds over us, his flawed, onerous creations. So many ways the Ancient of Days and the Father of Lies are working at cross purposes. If you check out the word's verses, it says the cross's purpose is not to fill churches, but to kill curses for every person that walks the earth's surface. From when God breathed in the dirt to Adam and Eve to the first serpent, we see in the word we need to be soul searching for a soul surgeon whose service goes below surface to usurp his crown from all these circus clowns. So God sent Jesus the perfect down to earth, whose blood purchased us because no other purses worked. Jesus, the only person who could do God's perfect work. Our Savior merging God and man emerging through virgin birth, because no other version works. The living words and excursion irked those in charge who with one accord used the outlet of court and chose to charge him like a phone that died. The Holy One who owned the sky and sits on the throne on high, and who alone can loan breath for life, was nailed to a cross and traded his own death for life. And for the rest of his life, his blood paid the debt for our life that we couldn't pay. When we couldn't pray, he said the things to God that we couldn't say. Then when the sun was covered by clouds that were good and gray, he looked up as if to tell the sky as he cried out, "Tetelestai, it is finished." And no matter how you spin it, sin's reign is diminished. You see, nearly from the beginning we were upended. Upended by sinning has Satan grinning, cause now we're owned like a diamond pendant. He was winning like a pennant on his home diamond, while for 3 days his foe was a tenant of where diamonds. Wait a minute, men die. For 3 days his foe was a tenant of where men die, the grave where life's sentence gets a period. But for Christ, it was a comma. The world was in for more drama than airs on TNT. An earthquake rocked the air like TNT and showed an empty tomb because Christ was only renting room like an Airbnb. He saw our END in a sinful jail, so he RENT the temple veil in two, paid the bail for you to give us a heavenly home to own. But hold the phone. The angel rolled the stone. Christ rose from the dead because what death failed to do was hold its own. Instead, it was trolled and controlled. That was his goal. Our hearts sold and gone cold. He stoked the coal when he rode his foal, folded us in his fold, paid the toll for our soul, and gave us riches untold. I'm told much better than gold. Before our sin load caused us to implode, he chose to save me, so on day 3, he arose like a flower. He rose with all power, saw us all sour from our fall, and became our strong tower. He is our song, our reason we sing songs. Kiss the ring, he's our king strong like King Kong. He never did a thing wrong. Then took death's sting on when he took death's sting out. And now that death is dead and stinking, it's no longer confined me to where he can't come find me, where sin had consigned me. He combined me with his life, gave me sight to unblind me. He rose to unbind me, and like a spine to his head, he aligned me so that life won't run by me. So until I'm done climbing, I'll be dumbfounded until I'm done finding lines that I will have fun rhyming about God's eternal and loving sundial.